I salute you, my fellow Homo sapiens. On multiple occasions have I walked into an exam room not even knowing the topic I was about to be tested on. Yet, I was able to work my way through many exam questions using this ancient problem-solving magic. And today I want to reveal this highly classified spell to you. Come closer. The secret ingredient to my secret ingredient soup is nothing. You heard me, nothing. There is no secret ingredient. It's all just you. You don't need a magic spell. You already have what it takes. Common damn sense. And today I'm going to prove it to you. I noticed something strange. Some of my classmates spent a suspicious amount of time studying. Now, maybe I should have studied more for some of my exams. My point is, I could not even imagine what one could possibly study for more than 10 hours for a physics exam. I mean, it's physics, it's 90% logic. Then I made a truly horrifying discovery. People weren't studying physics, they were trying to memorize the specific steps to solving every specific problem type on every topic in every class. What? What if I told you you do not need to do that? You do need to memorize some equations and concepts, but you do not need to memorize how to apply them in every specific scenario. Most engineering exam questions rely on the same basic logical principles. So, as long as you're confident in your logical reasoning abilities, you can almost always reason your way to the solution. Now, I shall prove this to you. I have prepared a special 3-question mini exam. You do not need to know any technical knowledge from engineering. You do not need to know calculus or anything like that to ace this quiz. And if you pass this quiz, you know you have all the mental tools needed to conquer your engineering courses as well. Let's start with something very simple. You have probably encountered this type of problem before, and you would say, Sasha, this is way too easy. A kindergartner could solve this. And you'd be right. That's why there's so many people arguing whether anyone could be an engineer, because most engineering problems are basically this. There are multiple ways to approach this problem. The most intuitive method is algebraic manipulation. Solve for the desired variable in each equation and plug it into the next. Another method is dimensional analysis. You start with the knowns and use the relations to cancel out unwanted variables. Let's expand on this a little. Beyond understanding relationships, engineers must also understand the behavior of a system. Let's say we have a parking lot. There are cars coming and leaving. An engineer should be able to understand what will happen to the parking lot over time in different scenarios. A. Cars are leaving at a greater rate than they arrive. B. Cars are coming and going at the same rate. C. Cars are arriving faster than leaving. In the first case, the amount of cars in the parking lot will decrease over time until it reaches 0. In the second case, the number of cars in the parking lot won't change. In the last case, the number of cars will keep increasing to infinity. No. What are you, a mathematician? An engineer should realize that a parking lot has only so many spaces for so many cars. So the number of cars will keep increasing until the parking lot is full. You might say, Sasha, that's common sense. My point. So far, we established that an engineer must understand the relationships between different elements in a system and be able to figure out the overall behavior of a system. What else is there? Well, sometimes you have to do the reverse. Figure out how a system works based on its behavior. Let's take a look at this example. Imagine a person in a room with a switch and a light. Two things happen about the same time. The lights go out and the person toggles the light switch. What happened? A. The person toggled the switch, causing the light to go out. B. The light went out, causing the person to toggle the switch. C. The light happened to go out the same time the person toggled an unrelated switch. As an engineering student, you must understand a little thing called cause and effect. When you do something to a system, give it an input, it will respond to that and give an output. However, you must also understand that just because the system behaved in a way you expected, that doesn't mean you understand how the system works. This was a trick question. All three answers are possible. Yes, answer A is more reasonable, and as an engineer, you are expected to analyze the information you have and to make the most reasonable assumption about the information you don't have. However, you must also test your assumptions. In this case, you could toggle the switch a few more times to see if the light keeps toggling with it. However, you will never be completely certain until you actually check the wiring. Sasha, that's so unnecessary. We can just assume the switch and the light are connected. Well, let me ask you this question. Would you, or would you not, drive over a bridge where the engineer reasonably assumed that the bridge can hold the weight of your car? Food for thought. This was a short video, but I believe I've made my point. Let me know in the comments if you would like a video discussing all the logical reasoning types and how they apply in engineering school. До свидания, мои дорогие. Пока!